Hello everybody, this is the Rabid Hedgehog, and currently I'm at Yamaha Norman, and I am riding another used bike review. And this is going to be my ride and review of the 2004 Yamaha 1100 Classic Vstar. And this one's had some modifications, obviously, when you listen to this thing roar. Get these mirrors where I can see. And actually, I'm actually picking this up for a friend. It's his first ever bike, so hopefully it's a good one for him. Good power on it. Generally, I don't like Yamaha's cruiser line, and it's just my preference on how they ride, and that's just how I am. You know, it's one of those things of rider preference. So there we go. It's got a heel toe shifter on it, so I'm getting a little bit used to it right now. Get that mirror where I can see. At any rate, this thing sits very low, very comfortable, has floorboards on it, heel toe shifter like I said. Kind of like a big old classic touring style bike. Good visibility out of the mirrors once you get them going. This one's a little bit loose. I'll have to get that one tightened up when I get to the house for them. So that one will stick, but this one over here is just fine. If I can get that one the same way, we'll be good. But whatever exhaust this thing has on it, has a great sound to it. Now this thing, like I said, it is a 2004, but it hasn't gone very far. It's actually done 12,547 miles, which is very impressive for as old as it is. It looks really pretty good. It's all in black, and it's got the alloy wheels on it and everything like that, so not spoke wheels or anything, so it's not like the 650 Classics or 600 or whatever that is that Yamaha makes in this era. So whenever you're looking down, you got this ginormous clock face of a speedometer, and you know, I don't like tank mount too much. Even if I lie back like this, I still can't really see it, like, so I look way down, but it is at least clearly visible. Now this one's not fancy at all. It is still carbureted, so you have a choke on your left side horn, of course your turn signals, right selection, on, off, and start, of course. And then up here you have a little trip odometer and regular odometer. That's all you're going to have on that. You do have oil pressure, neutral, turn, engine, service, and bright, on, off. So pretty much a very standard affair for this bike. And like I said, this one is a fairly nice looking bike in general. Engine is powerful enough. I mean, it's one of those bikes that you might need a drop in here. There we go. Give her a little bit more rev, and she does really well. She does vibrate heavily on the floorboards, but it doesn't translate over to the mirrors at all. It doesn't translate through the bars, so that's actually cool. Definitely a nice smooth bike. Now this bike does have kind of a weird thing. I was actually riding it in the parking lot, just kind of checking it out for him, and I noticed in the slow maneuvering it likes to dive left and right really fast, and I told him it's because it has a really small front wheel, you know, pairing with the back wheel, and that's why it feels like it's going to do that. But when it's riding on the interstate, it is perfectly fine. It actually rides great. It's very stable. Our winds today are probably about 15 miles an hour or so. So I'm riding straight into it right now. This little windshield it came with is actually perfect, keeping everything off of me pretty decently. But I mean, the handlebars are very stable. The bike is, as you can see, very flickable. Nothing binding or anything in the middle of it. It makes a tremendous noise. That's for sure. I'll see if I can kind of look around it here. As you can see, it looks pretty nice. Like I said, it's got the floorboards on it and the heel toe. It is a shaft drive bike, of all things. And that's not a bad thing at all. I don't mind shaft drive. But yeah, it rides nicely. I'm impressed with it right now. Like I said, normally I'm not happy with their newer offerings like the Bolt or the or the Striker or the 1300 Deluxe or any of those, but this one, I guess it's because it's more bare bones, a little bit older. I guess, I don't know, it's just something about it that actually feels really good. The engine is great, even though it's carbureted. It's got really good fueling. I mean, I can yank on the throttle, it doesn't hesitate or anything. The carburetor seems to be finely tuned on it, you know, despite as long as it's been around. Like I said, not very many mileage, so that means he took care of it, whoever had it last. But a great impression, holds highway speed just fine. No worries about that at all. Is actually pretty good as well. One thing I've noticed, because it does have an inverted front end, it handles the bumps really well. I know this looks like a freshly paved road, and it is, but like I said, I was riding it a little bit before this review just to check it out for him before he purchased it, and I was impressed with the suspension on it. It's nicely sprung. It's not soft, you know, to the point of bouncing you too much or letting you do this. And it's not tough, it's not hard enough to bounce you off. It's perfect. It's actually really well balanced. And I don't know if he's done any other mods to it, whoever had this last, but I know that there are some performance modifications, you know, specifically to the breather and the intake and the exhaust and everything. So it's definitely got some stuff done to it. And maybe that's why I like this engine a little bit better, is the way it balanced it out. Maybe that's something that it needed, was just a little bit more free-flowing air, because it has a high flow you know, air on it. I can kind of look down, it's kind of hard to see, I guess, but it's got a high flow air intake on it, and it does really well. And of course those nice pipes that are just pretty much straight out, barely any baffling, if any at all. This thing just sounds magnificent. Definitely, though, a beautiful day to ride, and a nice bike to go riding with it. Now, the great thing is the seat is comfortable. It kind of is reminiscent of a Mustang seat. This does have a pillion seat on the back, if I can kind of look behind me there. Pretty wide, pretty cushiony. His wife liked it pretty good. It's just one of those things where it's his first bike. He's like, I just don't want to take it all the way out there yet, because we're about 40 miles from home. So I'm going to take the first ride of it and just fill it out. Now, I have to admit, as we've gotten warm up here coming down the highway, that vibration that was in the floorboards has gone away. It's actually mellowing out quite nicely as we warmed up. This engine just sings pretty dang good. And what I'll do is, like always, I'll post all the specifications of the bike down in the comments below. This, like I said, was a heck of a deal. It's an under $3,000 bike. Like I said, it's one of those things where we were looking around seeing if we could find a deal, and of course we found quite a few bikes that were actually within his price range, and this one just ended up to be the perfect fit for him, and the way it rides is absolutely perfect for me. Even, I have to admit, I'm highly impressed with it. I do like the way it rides. I like the quality and feel of it. To me, it seems much better than their newer ones, and I just don't know what it is. Maybe it's the way the guy took care of it. Maybe it's the way they were back then. But the Star line, there's just things I always nitpick about when I'm on it, but this one is just glorious. I mean, yeah, there's some oxidation on the brake there. Yeah, there's some oxidation here and there, but you've got to give it credit. This bike is 12 years old now. Paint is still deep, really well put together. Controller's still working perfectly. Everything's beautiful on it. So at any rate, if you're looking for a good used bike and you're looking for something pretty dang cheap under $3 grand, it's got good power, good balance, great cruising, then definitely this Vstar 1100 Classic is right for you if you're looking for that cruiser type. I definitely approve this bike. I didn't think I would, to be honest, but after I've got it on the road and started taking off with it, I really do like this bike quite a bit. And I'm happy my friend bought it, actually. He got himself a good bike. At any rate, this is the Rabid Hedgehog. If you have any questions on the 2004 Vstar 1100 Classic, please put them in the comments below, and I'll be able to answer those as soon as I can, and be happy to answer those. If you have any more suggestions on some rides that I should do, let me know as well. I'm still going to be working on the Vulcan 900 Classic and some of those here pretty soon, and hopefully the Z125 whenever they get it in stock. I was talking to the dealer today, and unfortunately, apparently there was an early recall on them, and he said that they were putting springs or something on them in the rear, and that's what the cause was. So he said that he would definitely tell me when it comes in, and I'll do those back to back. So we should have those about mid-September. So I should do the Vulcan as well at that same time and compare it to this older bike here. I know that this is the 1100 and the Vulcans are 900, but heck, they're pretty close. So might as well. They're both +1 style chassis and both well-balanced bikes. At any rate, keep that shiny side up, folks. We'll catch you on the flip side.